is our review for this week. Order of operation, must do what's inside the parentheses first. So that's why I squared 5. I get 1 minus 5 is negative 24. The absolute value of negative 24 is 24. 2 cubed is 8. And then 24 divided by 8 gives me my 3 minus 9 is negative 6. Order of operation, do what's inside the parentheses first. So I have 9 minus 4 gives me 5. Then I square that. Square. Multiply those together, because multiplication before subtraction gives me a 50. And then just add those together and you get negative 2. And then f of negative 2 means you're plugging in negative 2 for the x. So you plug in negative 2. When I square negative 2, I get 4. Multiply before you subtract, so that's 8. And that's how I get negative 4. H of 1 means I plug in 1 as my x, and I get out a negative 2 for my y. H of x equals 3. H of x equals 3, so therefore you plug in 3 for my y, and I get out 4. G of x equals 8, so that means this g of x is 8, so I replace it with 8, and then just solve, subtract 8 from both sides, and you get 0. Divide, and you get 0. Both of these are not functions, because if you plugged in 1, you get out 2 different y's. And for every input, you need 1 output. If I plug in 2, I get out a bunch of different answers here. So it's not a function. The domain is my possible x values. Well, I can have any x down here, so that's all the way to negative infinity. And then all the way up to 5, and not including 5 because of the open circle. My lowest y value I see, lowest y is all the way down here at negative 1, so that's my lowest y. And my highest y goes all the way up to 3 because there's an asymptote there, it levels off. I have from negative 4 all the way to 4 for my x's. And cannot equal 4 here, but it can equal negative 4. My y's, my lowest y is right here at negative 3, and highest is up here at 3. And then simplifying, x to the 9th, y to the 9th, and then 3 squared, x to 6, y to the 10th. Add the exponents when you're just multiplying them together. Add the exponents when you're multiplying them together. Squared, square that, square that, square that. And then didn't do anything there. Had to cube each one of these, which I didn't. So that would be a 6. And that would be a 3. So then I have a to the 5th on top. And a to the 6th on the bottom, subtract those, and I get 2a on the bottom and no a's on the top. Always double check your work. Look at that. And the b's, I have a b squared times a b squared. That gives me b to the 4th over b cubed, and that gives me my b on the top. Subtract 8, divide. Negative divided by negative is a positive. Subtract or add 2x to both sides. That's how I got the 10x. Subtract 17 from both sides. That's how I got a 0. And divide by 10, you get x equals 0. Combine like terms. Combine like terms. I have the same thing on each side, so that means any number would work. Combine like terms. Combine like terms. And when I subtract 3x from both sides, I get 21 is equal to negative 11. No, that's never true, so it's no solution. How is the pattern changing each time? It's growing by 2 each time. So that means I have 7 in the first one, or in the 0 figure, and then it's growing by 2 each time. So grows by 2, that's my slope, starts off at 7, that's my y-intercept, and there's my equation. Figure 60, plug in 60 for the equation. The new problems for the week. My y-intercept is at 0, -1, and my slope is -3. Don't write the x there, it's not the slope, it's just the number next to it. So I started at -1, 0, -1, and I went down 3 over 1, down 3 over 1. Or I can go up 3 and back 1, up 3 and back 1, positive, negative, or I can go negative, positive, doesn't matter. They're both negative. Slope, y-intercept, 0, 3. Start off at 0, 3, go up 3 over 4, up 3 over 4, or I could go negative, 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 negative. I can go down 3, back 4. My slope is rise over the run, so it rises 1, runs over 4. Make sure you find a nice pretty spot where it crosses. And my y-intercept's at -2, 0, -2. Y-intercept's at 1, 2, 3, 4, so that's why it's +4. And it goes down 2 over 3, so it's a -2/3. Find a nice pretty dot. Rises 200, runs over 3. So it's 200 over 3. He flew his plane 200 over 3, or 66.6 miles per gallon. On this one, it's negative. It's going downhill. Goes down 50 and over 5. So it's -50 over 5, which reduces to -10. He is losing 10 pounds per month. Last page. Nice pretty dots. Going by tens, since that's 90, I can go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Rises 30, runs over 2. So 30 over 2 is just 15. So that's 15 wins per month. And then we have rises 150, runs over 5. So it's a negative since it's going downhill. -150 over 5, which is -30. He is losing 30 hairs per week. Slope. Subtract the y's, over subtract the x's. So I took that one, subtract that one, took this one, subtract that one, and I got 24 over -6, which is -4. So I know my m, and I can plug in a point. Here's an x, and there's a y. Plug in the x and the y, and solve. That's positive 16, so I added 16 to both sides. And that's how I got -11. Did the same thing here. Found my slope, subtract them. That's my slope. Plug in an x and a y, solve, and that's how you get your y-intercept. Subtract them. Minus a negative means you're adding. Subtract them. Get your slope. Plug in your x and a y. Doesn't matter which point you use. I'm running out of time. And there's the last one. All right, good luck.